great time for me sitting here and having conversations with you. Yes, that's the name of the program, Conversations. And you know what that means. You and I, and of course, the rest of the studio will be conversating on certain topic. Today, we have chosen something that a lot of people have, maybe in their private moment, talked about. Sometimes, too, it's also said in the public domain. But how much of us are, cultivating the habits of being part of it? It is family planning. You plan your family, they say, is cutting your coat according to your pockets now, not according to your size or your material. Well, it's conversations, and that means Elizabeth is not alone in the house. We have people here who are better placed to discuss this topic because I know Jack about it. Nothing. Let's start with the gentleman.
Good. Thank you very much, and good morning, Nigerians. My name is Lawrence Chinedu Anyao. I work for the Federal Ministry of Health as the Director of Family Planning in the Family Health Department.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, everyone. My name still remains Halima Usman. And, well, I'm an author. I am also a public servant. And it's nice to be here with you.
As always. And
thank you, Elizabeth. And good morning to you and to Nigerians. And I will say Ramadan Kareem. I am Dr. Salma Ibrahim Anas. I'm the Director and Head of Family Health Department of the Federal Ministry of Health. It's a great pleasure to be with you all this morning.
all right, so now you know it. I'm just here. I'm going to sit back and ask the questions you've been asking us. What method is trending now? When should I go for it? And all that and all that. How many children is ideal? All of that you get to find out. And of course, you can also ask your own questions. But we'll get to the streets of Abuja representing Nigeria and get to find out what people think about family planning. When we come, we talk. But while that is waiting, I quickly want to ask, what is the statistics of the people who are actually embracing? Because I know you did a bit of a launch, recently. That's the Nigerian... What?
The RAMCA, which is the Reproductive, Maternal, Newborn, Child Health, Adolescent, and the Elderly, plus nutrition. And family planning is an integral part of what we call the RAMCA, the strategy to improve the health and well-being of women, girls, children, and adolescents in Nigeria, as well as the elderly people.
Oh, that's nice.
So yes, so family planning is within that, and it's an integral part. It is a key component of improving life of the family.
All
so
right.
This was launched by the Honorable Minister of Health,
Not
Osagi Hanire, just last week.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the operational plan. But the platform was launched last year, 12th of October.
All right. Now, I'm really keen to know because I was part of that program and I heard certain statistics, I'm not sure if I remember, of Nigerians who are really embracing family planning. You want to tell us more about that?
Yeah, thank you once again. As at the time of survey that took place in 2018, the Nigerian Health Demographic and Health Survey, it was established that the level of contraception in the country, which indicates the number of women of reproductive age that are doing contraception, stood at 17%.
17 over 100.
Yes,
wow.
17%.
I know percentage is 100.
Really low.
That's really low.
We were able to move 2 points from where it was as at 2013, because we do this NDHS every 5 years. So between 2013 and 2018, we moved the 2 points from 15% to 17%. That's the total contraceptive prevalence rate. But when you look at the ones that are facilitated through modern family planning methods, we have 12%, which means the natural methods take 5%. But we have a pool of Nigerian married women who desire to do family planning, but because of one limitation or the other, they are not able to have access to family planning. And we are looking at 19% of women.
In all of these, I still, what do you think? I think I still find the numbers really, really low. 19% desiring out of 100. I always want to make sure I remember percentage is 100. So that's really low. It's not even up to 50%.
And by the way, he said 17% that are actually into it. So the 19% are just desiring.
Desiring.
You know, it's I don't know. Maybe perceptions. There might be a lot of reasons why a lot of people are still not embracing this family planning. But you know, you made a very prominent statement, a very important statement at the beginning. You say, nowadays, you don't just give birth. You look at your pocket. And it's not just about your pocket, but it's also about the children. It's also about giving them the life they deserve, you know. So I think there needs to be something, or we need probably more sensitization. People need to really understand what this family planning is all about. Probably that's one of the reasons why some women are not still embracing it, or some families, because it's not just entirely a woman's decision to take. It has to be both of them. So I think there's need for more sensitization, more I don't know, just people needing to get to know.
All right, so we'll get to that more sensitization. But like I said earlier, that we'd like to find out, sample people's opinion, get to find out what they really think. Do they buy it? And if they don't, what is the reason? Let's go there.
Population of Nigeria is over 200 million people. A few years ago, it was about 180 million, and as we speak, Nigeria is projected to be the third country with the largest population in the world. That's a bit scary, right? But how do we go about controlling these numbers? The easiest and still the cheapest way science has taught us is through family planning. But unfortunately, the statistics of Nigerians adopting family planning methods is still relatively low. Let's get out in the streets and find out from people what they think about family planning. Let's find out.
It's a process where family couples take measures, you know, to manage the rate of childbearing. So that's what I understand by family planning. I won't just advise my wife, I will advise the whole world to do family planning because of the rate, at the rate where population is growing, and then looking at the number of resources we have in the whole world.
There is the ability to have a plan before having children. You make your plan, the number of children you are willing you can take care of. To have children is not easy. It's better not to have children than to have children you cannot take care of. They are the problem we have in the society.
Family planning adoption is very good, at least to control the rate of childbirth. What I know about family planning is there are some pills women use and use of condom. Then for man, there is tablet as a man can use at least to make your sperm not to be active.
The family planning is good because when you born 3, 4, you rest, find your business and put your children for school so that they go grow fine. Not be when you born 2 years, 1 year, or you born until 7, 8. You know if you take care of them, it's wrong.
Family planning is all about spacing the child and controlling birth control to control the number of children you have. And to my understanding, I equally know that it equally helps the woman health-wise and even the family at large, because nowadays the economic is so bad. So getting too much of children, now you think of feeding, think of the school fees. So all these things are what you need to consider before you think about the number of children you have.
It's good. At least it can enable you to know how to control your spacing of your children and control your childbirth, to know how many children you want, than for you to give birth to much number of children that you cannot be able to take care of.
Well, we have heard from the streets. Let's get into the studio and find out from our guests what they think about family planning.
All right, I was just listening to your talk, your comments, when it was going on. He said this is Abuja. If it was a rural community, it would have been a different perspective. What would you have been, getting from that area?
Yes, from what we have seen in the conversation is that the awareness is very high, and they also believe in family planning. And some of them, one person mentioned about child spacing, which is another name for family planning or healthy timing and spacing of pregnancy. But if you go down outside to the rural communities, and then where you have women with low level of literacy and men with low level of literacy, the perspective is different. They don't see the benefits of family planning. They don't also know how to access family planning services within their communities. And even women that are using it are stigmatized. So family planning, as my colleague, as she rightly mentioned, we need to do a lot of intensive awareness to change the perspective. Let people understand it's not just about population control. In fact, now we call it population management. It's about quality of life. How do we improve the quality of life of the whole family? The mother, for her to survive, the children to survive, and also even the partners, the husband to survive. There is need for space.
Husband to survive.
Yeah. The husband to survive.
Yes. How?
It's a totality of family.
How is the man? The man is not the one getting pregnant.
But it has an indirect impact on the man.
And when the burden is too much on the man, let's assume something happens to the wife or the woman, and something happens. How does the man take care of the wife, take care of the children, take care of himself? The burden has increased. So why not save yourself the trouble? Prevention is always better than cure. It's better that the woman is in good health to help you do one or two things, that you allow her go through the stress or even lose her in the process. You understand? Because I have seen women that have died at childbearing. I've seen women, so many things is involved, and then you have children roaming the streets because the father, especially in this our economic situation, with COVID-19, with the economic situation, it's even worse. So I think it is very, very necessary that we begin to really think of embracing this family planning, family management. Like she said, it's all for our own good.
Yeah, definitely it's for our own good, which is why we're talking about it today. But the question is, I think I want to throw it to the man. I come from the place where you're getting married. One of the questions they'll ask you on your traditional wedding day is, how many children do you think or do you want to have?
Yeah.
And I recall then I said 12.
I said 10 that time.
You said 10.
And I ended up having half of it 5.
Oh, really? At least you're older than me in that aspect. I had just 3. So it's a question I answered because I used to hear then if you give birth up to 12, that's a dozen, they will kill cow for you. They say, there's a way they put it. So I said, okay, I needed to have that cow killed for me. But getting more mature, I realized it was a mistake. Now, people also have been, agitating that the Holy Books say, go out and multiply and fill the earth. Now, you are an expert in this area. How many children, ideally, is enough for a family?
Okay, let me start by saying this. When I was growing up, in my place, in my immediate community of birth, there was this phenomenon that was going on. There was this club of women with 10 or more children, and it was like
a big club.
Very competitive. So people were always striving to get to the club, but with the economic downturn and the impact.
So women were striving to belong to the club.
Women and men, because
to have at least 10 kids.
It was an exclusive club. You have to get 10 or more children to be there. So you have to compete in terms of childbearing. And it was going on well because people were managing to survive through the subsistence farming and minor economic activities. But with the economic challenges that we started feeling in the late 80s, so that club, that excitement started dying down. Today, nobody has anything about it again. And coming to the number of children, we have a population policy that recommended it was not to be first. The ideal number of children is around 4 because of the health of the woman. Because anything above 4, you are now, the woman is now taking a big risk that might result in the loss of lives. And men also have started realizing the importance of limiting the number of children they have, because the impact is on them. Just like our colleague here has said, it's not easy. You have to make provision for child care. You have to make provision for education. You have to make provision for housing. And you also take into consideration the fact that a lot of young people, even after graduating from tertiary institutions, they don't get jobs. And they still depend on the same family that toiled to educate them. So people are now advising themselves to try, like you said earlier, cut their costs according to their pockets or income. So it's a big incentive. Now, let me say this. We need to make huge investment into family planning, because when you make investment to provide the necessary infrastructure, that's health facilities, build capacity of health workers who will provide the service, procure commodities and distribute them. You look at it initially, it comes out huge, the amount of money that is needed. But when you look at the savings that will come with it, when it is costed, we're actually making gains. For every $1 invested, the savings is enormous, because we are saving the cost that would have incurred in the birth of the child, the taking care of the child in the hospital, then the care of the baby from 0 age to the time the baby will now start taking care of themselves, and then the cost of economic management in the family. And this translates also to the national level. What you see within the microcosm of the family, the level of the family, it translates also at the national level. Because if we fail to make the so-called huge investment into family planning, a lot of costs that we would have saved will go unsaved.
I think if I recall, in economics those days, I used to be scared of it, but I remember the one, alternative costs. Yeah. We'll have to pay one way or the other. Now, you talked about, huge side effects on the woman. If a woman, has probably more than 4, consequences. Maybe I'll let doctor speak on this, because she's also a woman. Yeah. What are the things that can happen? Because maybe if we do not really see it, we may not understand.
Yes, so I think that takes us to go back to the discussion he's making on the risk. Pregnancy is a risk on its own, with a lot of uncertainties that can happen. So scientific research has shown that every pregnancy that is more than 4 in number, it becomes very risky to the woman in having a safe delivery.
More than 4 in number, is it at once?
The number of pregnancy, 1, 2, 3, 4 at different times. More than 4, because the implication is that the body physiology has been designed to fully accommodate maximum of 4. So anything beyond 4, it becomes a risk. Because if you just take only the uterus itself, that is the womb that harbors the baby, it's an organ that is very elastic. Just like the balloon. I like to share that example with a balloon that the kids use to blow. The moment you continue to fill that balloon with air and deflate it, and you do more than 3 times, it becomes elastic. It becomes flaccid. It begins to lose its elasticity. And then at a certain time, it either bursts or it becomes flaccid. So this is the uterus for you. It takes the first pregnancy, it deflates and goes back and contracts. And with each contraction, it contracts the blood vessels and stops bleeding. So as you continue to bombard it with more pregnancies, with enlargement, it reaches a stage that it either bursts because of so much pressure, and it wears off. It also ages like the clothes. So it wears off. So it either bursts, we've had ruptured uterus, or it might reach a stage where it becomes flaccid and it cannot contract back. So with no contraction, it means that the blood vessels will continue to flow.
Is that what they
Bleeding
call
will
is
not
it
stop.
Obstetric, what, fistula, something? I don't know.
No, this is now hemorrhage, hemorrhage,
Postpartum
bleeding.
hemorrhage.
Okay,
This is postpartum hemorrhage.
Okay.
So it leads, and it's one of the leading causes of maternal death. It's like you open the tap and then the water continues to flow non-stop. And within a twinkle of an eye, the woman is drained and goes into coma and dies if nothing is done immediately. So this is number one. And then secondly, still in terms of the frequency, when it is too many, we talked about the too many in terms of the number.
Okay.
When it is, the spacing also is too little, that is, you don't give at least minimum of 2 years interval.
Some people will tell you every year one.
Yes,
Especially when the marriage is delayed.
I have met a woman that had like 4 pregnancies in 5 years.
Wow.
And she told me, I just want to finish it.
And rest.
But that is very risky, because you continue to stress yourself, physiology of your body, the health of your body, and you get derailed. So the best that we health workers advocate is that there should be a minimum of 2 years interval, which allows you to continue to breastfeed your baby. It also allows you to regain your health, your immunity, and then you can continue again. So when it becomes less than, and this is what the issue of the child spacing comes in, another name for the family planning. So you should space your children at least minimum of 2 years. It's good for the mother's health and also benefits the father. And as you rightly mentioned, also the father himself, indirectly, it also affects him economically and socially, and also emotionally. Exactly. So at least minimum of 2 years we advocate. Then you now look at the age of the mother. When the mother is too young, and as you mentioned, even our national population advocates 18 years of marriage, isn't it?
Too young is 18, anything below
Too
18.
young, anything below 18. The girl is just growing up. And you find in most communities in Nigeria, they are exposed to pregnancies as early as sometimes 11 years. The girl is immature. The organs are just developing. So when it is too young, it becomes another risky pregnancy. And when the woman is too old actually is 35 years. But the best of pregnancies happen between 23 to 27 years.
Are you people listening?
The best of pregnancies.
All these girls are go and they say, no, I want to finish my career.
I'm telling you, that is the best of
And
pregnancies.
then you wait until when you're 30 years, 32 to get married.
So maximum is 35 years. Then you are a bit old. You've started having some health challenges, and all that. It becomes also very risky. So I think I have mentioned most of the 4 areas that are associated with the risk. Then the major ones he has mentioned is the bleeding. Then hypertension in pregnancy, which could lead to eclampsia. It could be pre-eclampsia, before delivery, and it could be postpartum eclampsia. This is another risk that kills women. Anemia in pregnancy, infection, which is septicemia. The woman could get infected. And looking at infection, malaria is another cause also. Malaria in pregnancy is another cause of maternal death. So when you look at all the ranges, you will see that, Elizabeth and viewers, that most of it are preventable. That is the good news about it. More than 90% of maternal deaths are preventable if we do the right thing. We access services immediately during pregnancy, and that is antenatal care. Right from the beginning, you are monitored throughout the span of that pregnancy. You are delivered by a skilled birth attendant, which may not necessarily be a medical doctor. It could be a nurse, a midwife, a community-trained community health extension worker. We are not available, even a junior community health extension worker that has been trained. And then immediately after delivery, you are also followed up, because things can also change after delivery. BP can go up. Bleeding can come up, several other things, infections. So you are followed up during the postpartum period. That is period after delivery for up to 6 weeks. And this is common in our tradition, that women stay 42 days after delivery before they even start going out. I love that tradition. This is to tell you that the woman needs to be taken care of. She needs to regain her psychology back. She needs to regain her health back. and also have time to take care of the newborn. So this period also is a time that the health facilities, the health workers monitor the health of the mother as well as the health of the baby for that period of time.
All right.
When she was talking, I remembered I had an experience with an eclampsia patient. She came to the hospital. I actually took my neighbor. I think she had a second pregnancy or so. So when we got there, at least my neighbor was stable, and this lady just came in. She was, I got really scared. So where is her file? No file. Have you been coming to the hospital? You know, they say, she's been going to one other hospital. Say, which hospital? I was a medical then. They called one government hospital. Say, where is the card of that hospital? At least we can trace it from there.
Her history.
Do you know the truth? She has not been going to the hospital. So here she was. It was a life and death situation. I was really scared. The doctor said they can't take her because anything happens now, it will be said they are the ones that were careless. Unfortunately for them, they are not the ones because she never came. So honestly, you need to see the way she was moving her mouth, biting herself. I was really scared. So it's not something you want to see. It's not something you should wish for anybody, not even yourself. So it's better you just take care of yourself, not to allow yourself to get into that kind of situation.
I mean, if it takes me staying 2 years, why not? I don't want to go through that stress.
Exactly.
2 years, marry early if you must. You have the babies on time and then get it all done with.
And visit the hospital.
So let me add this to the possible benefits of family planning, so that we don't miss it. To the child, like my head of department has said, proper spacing gives the child better chance of survival. You know, the excuse a lot of families used to give, at least in the olden days, was that let them have as many children as possible so that the number that will remain after some of them have died will ensure that the family has children. So now, if they are spacing for a minimum of 2 years, and there are immunizations that children are given, the children are exposed to continuing health care. So the survival rate will be very high. And now that means that a family does not need to have too many children. That fear of losing all the children if they have few is allayed. So people should be confident that if they do family planning, the few children they have will have a very good chance of surviving and look after them in their old age.
All right, so still on you, sir. You know, you said you're an expert when it comes to family planning, and this particular angle to it, I'm really curious. I'd like to know, what are the methods for us? When you talked earlier, you talked about the natural method, and I was like, which one is natural now? You know, so maybe you can enlighten us. What are the options? What are the methods?
Well, the natural methods, some religious bodies are promoting them, like the Billings method, the fertility awareness method.
What is billing now?
Well, the woman will observe her fertility pattern when she's fertile, when she's ovulating, to avoid having intercourse, and maybe find out when she's safe, that if she meets her partner, she will not get pregnant. So there's a way it is charted, and once it is followed properly, the woman has a higher chance of not getting pregnant. Then
this method, for me, there are people whose ovulation are just, they run like whirlwind.
Yes, the woman will have to take time. It needs a lot of patience. The woman will need to study with her partner to be able to establish when she's really safe. Otherwise, they could go through the modern methods. The modern methods now, you have female condom, which is relatively new. You have the male condom. These are barrier methods. You have...
how many % proof are these condom methods?
Well, From available statistics, it should be as high as 95% if
95,
correctly and consistently used.
Okay.
Because if you use it correctly once and the next round of intercourse you don't use condom, then it's not consistent. So if you are going to be relying on male or female condom for your family planning, it has to be consistent. Every time that love making is to take place, it has to be with male or female condom, separately, not together.
Okay.
And then the condoms also...
Now, when you say separately, does it mean the woman will wear?
No,
At the same time, the man will wear?
That's where I'm going to.
Okay. No,
if it is the female condom,
okay.
the woman will have to wear it.
Okay. And the man does not need to wear.
The man does not need to wear anything. And if they are using female condom, it means that every time they want to make love, the woman must wear a new female condom.
Okay.
There's no room for
Recycling.
repeat usage. The same applies for male condom. Anytime they want to make love, the man will wear it. And they have at least 95% success rate.
Okay.
And then you also have oral contraception, oral contraceptive pills. You have the ones that are good for mothers that are breastfeeding. Meanwhile, it's recommended that the first 6 months of childbirth, if the woman is doing exclusive breastfeeding, the woman is protected from unintended pregnancy.
But I've seen people who are doing that and they still get, you know what
exactly,
I mean?
yes.
They still get pregnant.
Well, one thing is that you have to be sure that they are saying the truth, that they have been consistent. That consistency is there. And also the second aspect is that in everything, there's this window of the chance, little chance of failure. So it may be the exception out of the normal. So when something fails, what you need to check is the number of failures. Is it too high? If it is within tolerable limits, then you can agree that that method is working well. So then, apart from the one for breastfeeding mothers, there's a combined oral contraceptive pills that the women that are not breastfeeding can use. That's in the group of oral pills. Then you have injectables. You have one that you can use a woman can take every 2 months. And then there's one that can be taken every 3 months. Then
those are injectables.
Injectables, injectable contraceptives. There's the one for 3 months. There's a variant that has come into the system, DMPAC. This is almost, it offers the same measure of protection like Depo-Provera. But one important aspect of it is that with proper orientation, a woman could actually inject herself. It's very simple.
Just like the diabetic patients.
Yeah, yes.
I have the
can
kit for
inject
diabetes
themselves.
that I've not been able to pick even once. And you're telling me to inject myself.
Yeah, so
I will
it's
not be able
similar.
to
So
do
you're
it.
afraid. You need to...
No,
With proper
somebody has to do
counseling,
it.
with proper counseling
Somebody has to do
and
it.
support. It's
With proper counseling,
doable.
somebody has to do it.
Yeah,
I'm
with,
just
with
imagining-
proper counseling and support, Elizabeth, it is doable because you don't have to be visiting the health facilities, just like we have the diabetic patients now, injecting the insulin.
So I'm just
day.
wondering that if you are saying no to it, what about people that are not as enlightened as you are?
It's not
Even
from
me.
enlightenment, it's from
No,
the
I'm
pain,
saying-
from the needle.
But even myself
it's
too,
the
that's
fear.
the
It's the phobia, the fear. It's
Actually,
not enlightenment.
it's not that painful. It's like a prick.
Just
Because
very,
we give it at the
very
subcutaneous,
tiny needle.
not deeply, not IM, intramuscular. So it's you just pinch, it's a pinch and then put it on the subcutaneous tissue.
Well, I don't
It's
know
all
that
right.
I
Those
would do
who
it
have the
myself.
muscle,
And
they can do it.
it's very
Exactly.
ideal. It's very ideal for getting to the hard-to-reach areas, the communities,
Yeah.
where you don't readily have health facilities available to ensure services are provided. So
Like she mentioned the rural areas.
yes, because when you look at the urban dwellers and the rural dwellers from surveys, the uptake is more in the urban areas, just like
Yeah.
the level of education impacts positively on the level of uptake too.
All right, so we'll still be on that. Let's see and communicate a little bit with our viewers. Somebody says here, good morning, ma. My name is Blessing from Kaduna. Ma, I have 2 children and 4 years. Okay, they are 4 years and 1 year. That's a good spacing, right?
Very good.
All right. I want to do family planning, but I do not know which one to go for. Because most people say the disadvantage is more than the advantage. You see where I'm coming from? So, I don't, you'll get to answer that. I'll still take more questions, more this thing. Family planning. I am Elder Abuchi Ikegwonu from Mba in Ben, the local government. This is quite regular. My question, 1, where do you place culture and custom in a situation of male children to a family with 6 females?
6 already.
6 females.
6 females.
So, she has
Okay.
so you need to keep duplicating to make the male one. Is that it?
Not really.
Okay, let's.
You know, when it comes to the issue of now gender preference, either for male, for female, I think that should not decide, because I know a woman that have 9 sons and she's yearning still
For a girl.
to have a girl. And I've met also the other side of it. A woman that has 6 girls has been yearning to have a male child. So at the moment you begin to look at the gender preference, you also put your life at risk. And what I tell couples is that you have to be alive to have babies. You have to be alive to take care of the babies. So whichever one God gives you, is for us to be prayerful that they are quality and they contribute to the national development, contribute to humanity. That is it. Because I think the saying goes, what a woman can do, a man can do. Or
Even
what a man
better.
can do, a woman can do even better.
better.
So I think it's the quality that matters. It's not about the gender, because that takes us to the gender responsiveness, especially in addressing a lot of cultural barriers to it. So take decision, informed decision, you're supported, information will be provided to you, you'll be counseled on the right choice based on your own chemistry, your own body makeup. What fits Elizabeth may not fit me.
Exactly.
What fits you might not fit, and the same thing. So you have to be supported by a health worker. And then someone did mention the disadvantages are more. I think Lawrence can talk more to the disadvantages. There is nothing that does not have a side effect. But this, as he mentioned earlier, the side effects are so minimal, to the barest minimum that can threaten public health. And that is why we advocate for it. It has been well researched. So because someone has taken a contraceptive pill and then added weight, because I saw a lot of women complaining of weight gaining, it depends on the individual's woman and her chemistry and her makeup. That doesn't mean I should also decide not to take the same. So we need to have a full assessment by a health worker, and you need to be informed of all the choices and then supported to make the right choice. So maybe Lawrence can talk more about the side effects.
Okay,
Yeah, I just even wanted to add to that. You see, when it comes to this gender issue, you know, you don't go to the womb and decide and say it must be a boy or it must be a girl. So I think this is entirely divine. I know that we have, of course, technology has gotten to a stage that people can now tell what you have on the inside. But it's God's gift. Let's accept them and embrace them and love them. And you'll be surprised. I've met men that said they wanted a boy. And they finally got the boy. But they said, I now prefer the girl that I have because the girls take care of me more than the boys do.
Definitely.
So I think it's just a matter of us accepting the will of God.
Yes.
Accepting these children as they come as a gift, that they will be, as she said, let them be useful to you, to the society, to the nation as a whole. It's not a matter of gender now. It's a matter of contribution.
All right, you're very correct. I personally think that children are visitors in our homes. They will come and they will go. What is important is the relationship between the man and the woman. You know, children are just, the way they put it, byproducts. So whether they are male or female, for me, it's inconsequential. And at the end of the day, what accounts when you leave, it's just you alone. And while you're alive, what really matters is the communication, the bond between the man and the woman. The children will find their own spouse.
Sure.
Even if it's the man, you say men stay in the home. Those men these days, they move out, they marry, and once they marry, they are gone.
They are gone.
That's the truth.
And to add to that, honestly, I know this fear of inheritance and stuff like that. But nowadays, it's not even advisable for you to say you are leaving inheritance for children. Train them to fish.
Make their own.
They can make their own. You don't need all of this wahala.
That is the
because of
weapon
it.
for survival.
Exactly.
The
So
training.
I think this mentality really needs to change, because it's not about, okay, now everybody can do well. The girl can also do well. She can own houses. She can do a lot of things by virtue of her contribution to society.
A girl
so I
can
think
also
that
be a president.
she can be
Sure.
a president. It's happening.
We just had a president in Tanzania.
Yes, and he's a woman. So
a
I
woman.
like, but let's not move the topic
Had
to
Malawi.
gender fight. I see all the women
no,
are hot. Let's take a break. When we come back, we have lots of questions here. We intend to take as many as we can. All right, so the break shortly.
Midst of the coronavirus pandemic, information management is key.
I'm Cyril Stober.
Fatima Umar Buba.
Joseph Johnson.
Ian Ray John.
Muhammad Kudu Abubakar.
Jumba Yusuf.
My name is Kirian Umaya.
Here in NTA, we're working very hard to make sure that everything we broadcast is accurate and up to date. Misinformation spreads very fast.
The social media has been a huge conveyor of misleading information from one individual to another, then to another set of groups. In a short while, it goes viral, and before you know it, it is all over the world.
There have been several misleading information on coronavirus COVID-19. Recently, the misconception of 5G as a cause of coronavirus is becoming widespread. Another is the belief that hot beverages and alcoholic drinks are internal cleanser for COVID-19, thereby leading to excessive consumption of these drinks.
The use of local concoctions as treatment for COVID-19 are yet to be scientifically proven. However, there has been several theories about the efficacies of these concoctions. We should stay safe and denounce all manner of fake news and misleading information on COVID-19.
For medical advice, go on the WHO website, Nigeria Center for Disease Control NCDC website, or stick with the advisories from the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 or other authentic official sources. NTA is one of them.
All right, it's still conversation, and I told you it's time to interact with you who is in the house listening to us. We started already by reading a few questions, and very quickly you take the advice blessing from Kaduna what to do. She already started. But you
Yes, just to chip in, it's good not to start telling somebody on phone or maybe outside conversation what methods to use. It's always better to visit a health facility where there are trained health workers that will
assess
counsel the person, assess, and then look at the health profile to be able to give, give the appropriate information that the client, that the woman will now use to make the informed choice by herself. The client should choose after being exposed to all the methods, their merits, demerits, and
all right, blessing, you're listening. Don't listen to all the people that tell you disadvantages. You have to go and do it yourself.
My brother that already has 6 girls. So what I want to advise is that if he has the money, maybe why not adopt one of the children out there? And then for those that have not already reached 4 or more children, they can make use of available technology now to try and see if they could
have
sex selection, either male or female, so that you don't wait till you are outside the 4 or thereabout before you start looking for what to do.
Okay, so there's actually technology I can use to, apart from the Billings method.
The IVF.
Okay, okay. That's extra expensive. All right. Good morning, Nigeria. My name is Kevin Ape. I'm from Anambra State. I want to thank you people. Thank you to Kevin, and good morning. What can be the cause of low contraction during childbirth? I don't know. Low contraction, I don't understand that. during childbirth, but we're actually talking about family planning. So let's focus on what...
But the director of the family health department hinted at it, maybe when the womb has so stretched that it can
and then
no
prolonged
longer
labor
contract
can also cause low contraction, and the uterus becomes flaccid.
Okay.
Yes, so there are several reasons that causes low contraction.
And that's why it's important to have women who are pregnant and due to deliver to go to health facilities where there are skilled health workers that can anticipate all these things and give appropriate management.
All right. Good morning, sir. Please, is it that if a man and a woman should use condom, that the same time it is good or not? Okay, I guess the same question I asked, whether the two of them should wait at the same time.
At the same time, no.
Okay. No. All right,
one should use at a time.
Well, let me say this. There's this comment about dual protection of condoms. Some people tend to mistake it for both partners using different condoms. It's actually referring to the possibility of averting unintended pregnancy and also preventing infections with sexually transmitted diseases or infections. When a man uses male condom, a woman uses female condom, that singular act will not just prevent the sperm from the man going into the woman and fertilizing the ova. It will also prevent infection from either of them from getting to the other person. So that's
like
what we mean by
buy one, get one free.
Yes.
Yes, and then if you recall, HIV/AIDS transmission. So we advocate the use of the use of condom to prevent HIV
So when
transmission.
you are using condom, you are not only you are preventing pregnancy and you are also preventing STIs.
All right. Good morning. Please, my question is, my wife was using Levofun to protect pregnancy, but since 1 year she has stopped it, but she's not getting pregnant. What do we do? I have often heard this because a lot of people will tell you, I'm not going to do that thing because I hear when you stop, you find it difficult to conceive.
Yeah,
How
and
real
sometimes
is this?
they tell you that the child will come out deformed or something.
There are a lot of myths around it.
Yes.
So, but this person is saying for 1 year, what are they supposed to do?
Well, the fact is that they still need to continue visiting the hospital to find out, to rule out other possible causes of that condition. It happens in a number of, just a few of the methods. They take a bit longer, but when it gets to it takes like 1 year, then the health workers need to be taking steps to rule out other factors. But there are methods that once you stop, the woman gets pregnant. So all these things, based on the woman's health profile, the woman will be guided to make decisions as to which method to use after comprehensive information has been given.
All right, my name is Alhaji Ajayi Dauda from Ado Ekiti. My contribution to the family planning discussion going on is that the program is good, but the majority of the people that need the advocacy are mostly in the rural area and people in the northern and eastern part of the country where reports shows that they are against this practice. Multiple birth causes a lot of harm to the family itself and society in general. One of the major causes is insecurity and high rates of crime. So advise the National Orientation Agency should be back saddled with this going around the country for proper education as Nigeria need it now. Thank you very much. And I guess in response to what you're asking for, that's why we're having this conversation. And
yes,
please...
just to add, we very much agree with him. And in response to that, I want to say that it's a partnership and a joint responsibility. And we are currently working even with the media organizations to ensure that they add their voice in terms of information dissemination, the right information, accurate information on the use of family planning commodities. And another component that we're using, the influential group, are the traditional institutions.
Okay.
They are now involved. We have greater participation of them you know, to change the
traditional rulers
misconception. The
themselves,
traditional
these
rulers,
days, your bars.
yes,
Okay.
the traditional rulers, the religious leaders, you know, to include it in their sermons or their preach when they preach to their followers, to talk about, give the right information to families about the use of family planning. So we're hoping with those outlets and then the involvement of more partners,
And I think
we
this
should be able to reach
person asking the question too can do a little bit in his own little corner.
Yes.
Because it's not just about the government, it's not just about our leaders, it's about everybody's hands must be on deck.
Yeah,
You can just pass the information, even to your children and their friends. You can just share the little, just within your little corner. You'll be surprised how far it will go.
So Alhaji Dauda, you heard Halima.
We
You
have,
should go and play the role as well.
We have two
Exactly.
important books that have been published giving a religious perspective to family planning, one from the Islamic side and then one from the Christian side. So whatever belief that people have from the religious angle, even from the traditional angle, I think those two books dispel them from the basis of either whether you're a Christian or a Muslim.
Yeah.
So people cannot hide under religion again
Yes.
to say family planning is bad.
All right, so somebody is asking directly to you, will a removal of sperm as a withdrawal method prevent somebody from getting pregnant?
Yeah, there is what is called the coitus interruptus, which is another natural method that was mentioned earlier, where this is a very traditional practice. It's an old-time practice, and it's still very effective if couples can use it and be careful and ensure consistency of the method and use it well. It does work, of course, it does work. And I remember even in our traditional and religious book, this has been described very well, that it was used as long as man have ever existed on earth. They've used what is called the coitus interruptus, and it's effective.
See what I love about education. See how they have coined the name for it.
Elizabeth knows only withdrawal methods. She has given me
Oh
title
my
now.
God.
It's good though. All right, so somebody says, my name is Charity. I'm writing in from Adamawa State. I have 2 children, 10 and 1, and I want to do family planning. Please, I need advice. What do I do?
10 and 1.
10 years and
1 year.
1 year and 6 months.
Wow.
Well, she should visit the nearest facility for assessment and then comprehensive information.
Now, a critical question, we'll make it very short. If a woman wants to do health, family planning and discusses with her partner and they say, no, you can't, can I go on my own to go do it? I mean, without telling my husband because it affects me. Must I always go with the man? Quickly.
Well, there's a program we are doing now that has to do with male involvement. We are not encouraging friction in the family. What that program is trying to do is to bring men into the fold and make them give their voice to it. So once they are convinced, and a lot of them are already getting the understanding, and they are
so the
part
answer
of
is
our
no.
champions. No, the answer is no, because the woman has family planning can be viewed as a kind of human right. So the woman, once she's of age, she can take decision concerning her body. Family planning is
okay.
And it's about the health, it's your own health.
It's her
so
own
it
health.
reaches a point where the woman now have to take a decision. And this is where the empowerment comes in.
All
We
right,
have
so
to empower them with information, empower them even with methods, and that is why we now even have the female condoms, with the contraception, with the self-injection.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Our time is no longer on our side, and I wish we had more time. But we'll continue the conversation right after here. And I must say thank you to all of you for coming and teaching us. I have learned, okay? There's the last grammar you showed me now. I'll try to practice it. We'll come again next week. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Funny enough, 1 hour.